im Monobob. Also, viel Spaß.
Am 11:24, 2 Minuten noch bis zum Start des ersten Sturmlaufs. 2 minutes to go and 2 minutes to start the first Bobsleigh.
Genau, also das war die wichtige Information von Marc. Jetzt wollen wir noch mal ganz kurz gucken. Alle Arme nach oben und auf geht's. Machen wir das ein bisschen schneller, kriegen wir das hin?
von dabei sein, diese bitte jetzt räumen, denn Startfreigabe ist erteilt worden. Track ist hier. Spurbock Nummer 1, Maximilian Illmann. Now we start the first pilot set, Team Maximilian Illmann. Und beide sind gestartet. Damit der Aufruf schon mal für das Team Alexander Tudai. Team Alexander Tudai, please prepare. Pilot set number 2.
Seventh race weekend of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup. We're in Altenberg in Germany on a damp morning for the second race or the second heat of our Monobob competition. Martin Haven and Australian driver Sarah Blizzard at the side of the track here. Luckily, we're in the dry. The fans, well, there's no umbrellas up, but they should be in for a good day of action. And as always, this is a big sport in a small town. They're a knowledgeable crowd, and they've got a good battle on their hands. Andrea Grecu knows his track inside out, lies in third place, just a few hundreds behind Lara Nolte, the world champion. And we've got like a 3 or 4 sled battle for the bronze and silver here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very exciting first heat. I think a lot of sleds are going to change position, especially for that bronze medal. So looking forward to seeing what happens.
And in these sketchy conditions where there's not much speed and not much grip, then it's going to be who makes the most mistakes. Lara Nolte, the world champion, in the silver medal position at the moment, but only 500s in hand over Grecu. And there are another couple of challengers behind her as well. Will she take gold? Well, the woman who stands in her way is Alana Myers-Taylor. Now, Alana's got a handy advantage of nearly 0.3 of a second. In any normal conditions, that should be uncatchable. But if you make one mistake here, you can easily give that away. Yeah,
hopefully her knowledge of this track definitely can help her keep that spot. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
It's going to be entertaining. Always is here. It's a difficult track to get down, very difficult to get down fast. So there's the gap. Alana, quarter second ahead of Nolte. And then look, Nolte, Grecu, Buchwitz, Katy Bile, realistically, if anybody flakes in front, could be in the medals as well. Further back, some very tight battles as well. Look at Kelly van Petegem and Keisha Love, 200s apart, and our rookies Deborah Annan and the first off Sylvia Hoffman, 100th apart. That's effectively a dead heat. You couldn't possibly spot that with the naked eye, so plenty to go on. Well, there's Lara Nolte, the world champion. She was the silver medalist in both races last year. Both were won by Kaylee Humphries, who's not here this season. And so Lara, de facto, the best driver from last year carrying over. Lisa Buchwitz, well, she's had a great season, 4 wins already. Didn't have the first heat run that she wanted. What about Katy Bile? She could be in the medals. She's really finding her driving form again. So too is this woman, Cynthia Appia. Really slow start to the season. Cynthia was 3rd in the World Cup rankings last year, and yet has struggled to get near the top 3 at any stage. And Brianna Walker, medalist here last year, could easily do the same again, but she's got quite a lot of ground to cover after a disappointing first heat. So Sylvia Hoffman will be first off. Deborah Annan will go second, our 2 rookies, and then they all continue in reverse order of their first heat performance. So it's last to fast. 16th and final sled on ice will be Alana Myers-Taylor. Is her first heat advantage enough to claim her first win in the World Cup? We will see. Well, the American athletes have got the field surrounded. One at the front, one at the back. Let's see if Sylvia Hoffman can produce a tidy run in her second trip down the track. Martin Haven, Sarah Blizzard watching alongside here.
She had a 5.95 start in the first one, so we'll see what she's able to do in the second run.
Well, Sylvia, another former brakewoman like Keisha Love, like so many in the field, 5.99.
She's definitely one of the stronger, fast push athletes there because of her history of being a brakeman, which can definitely help on a lot of tracks, especially with Monobob as well.
Well, especially Mono, you've got nobody else to back you up. Whoa, big skid out of 5 into 6. Very slithery. Now, they spritz the track. There's a spray of water to take out some imperfections, like sending down a Zamboni, and that makes it a little faster, but clearly a lot slicker. Out to the 360-degree Kreisel. Straight down into 13, and this extra 14 equally time-sapping if you're skidding, and she does, comes in the wrong side of 15.
That skid at the bottom definitely would have cut a bit of time off as well.
So across the line, it is a 61.31. First heat was a 62.21, so that's 0.9 of a second better. And that's the metric that she'll be looking at. It's not about where she is compared to her teammate, the leader. Of course it is, but it's actually, and this is your journey as well, where you are now compared to where you've come from. And that's the only measurement. It's you against yourself in all these races.
Exactly. Pretty much at this, like, it's her second week on the track, I believe. She only had a few training runs last week as well. So you just want to keep improving on the lines, have a cleaner rundown, and hopefully beat your time from the first heat.
Because at the moment, she's still learning the intricacies of driving a bobsled as well as learning a brand new track. So there's a lot going on. And then the weather changes every day.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of changes happening.
Every day, it's a different track. And what line worked yesterday may not work today or tomorrow. So, yeah, experience is everything.
Yeah, and this is definitely a track where the experience can help a lot. You see a lot of the people up in the top few positions, and they're the ones with the most experience on this track.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, 9/10 better. So that means Deborah Annan, a fellow rookie, also needs to go 9/10 better. There's the Martin Annan smile. Her dad, a legendary Swiss bobsledder of the late 90s, early noughties. Let's see what she's got at the start. First heat, 6:23, 6:27, so the start area not quite as quick. Maybe that is frosting up a little bit as well. Nice and smooth early on.
Nice and clean up the top there, which is nice to see because that's very hard to get sometimes.
Yeah, and if you're not, it's death to whatever speed you've got in the sled, isn't it?
Exactly.
You know, the fast corners lower down, exit of 9 here, very dramatic, but the speed you give away early on can be so detrimental. Out of the Kreisel, holding that steer. Better speed, and she takes the lead away from Sylvia Hoffman. They're only 100th apart at the end of the first heat, but she's clean out of 14 as well.
In general, it's looking like a pretty nice run. Nothing major. I think she hopefully should be pretty happy with that.
All right, 60.76. She came down 62.2, so that's 1.5 seconds quicker. That's a big improvement in the second heat. And we talked about this, didn't we? You know, the nerves. All right, she's been down the track in training lots of times. She's been here as a forerunner. She's raced in Europe Cup, but it hasn't got Ilko's camera in your face. It hasn't got the camera in your face at the start. It hasn't got all of the big names and the noise and the crowd.
There's a lot of people there watching. It's really awesome. There's a lot more people than the first heat as well. So the crowd will really build during the day, which is really good to see.
So, yeah, if there was first night nerves in her first run, understandable, but she really got a handle. And again, look down into the cockpit, watch the driver's hands, watch them move as you steer with those D-rings.
So you get to the red flag and you can see her bringing it off.
You know the history of that red flag?
A little bit, yes.
Comes back to Harold Chudai when he was still a young driver racing here. One night he went up and tied a red rag onto the roof there, so he knew where to get off. And it remains not the same red rag, but an official flag now.
It's a very good marker to have. I think it saved a lot of people.
It definitely has. Otherwise, you get kind of lost. Here we go, Yingqing of China. Now, she had 3/10 in hand over Deborah Annan, and Deborah has put in a really good second heat. So let's see what she's got. 6:18. That helps her at the start.
She equaled her start time from the first run, so that's always good. You always want to either equal it or better it. Bit of a skid in 3 and really high at the start of 4.
Yeah. So her gap was 39 hundredths, out to 42. Little late flop.
That was a pretty nice 9. Little taps, but in general, that was one of the nicest 9s we've seen.
Right, best speed so far. You can see how far she's sitting back. Now, Deborah Ann is quite a tall athlete. Yingqing is not, and you can see her sitting much further back. See more of her and...
A few taps. It wasn't very nice through 12 there.
Again, this is get it down ugly, but get it down. She's still holding her speed up quite nicely, and she will be ahead at the line by 15 hundredths. Big smile from Deborah Annan. All right, look, you know, that first day on the World Cup, and again, you know, I remember met you when you were a brakewoman back in Innsbruck. You remember what it's like the first time. You know, you come from tumbleweed in training and suddenly you come to World Cup and it's, oh, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big change. It's definitely a big change. And I guess a lot of these athletes have also been sliding during COVID when there was no spectators. The last 2 years, we're finally getting some spectators back, which is really awesome to see. Yeah, corner 3 is a really hard one in Monobob. You kind of have to take the skid and try and not tap. And then corner 4 is also a hard one. You don't want to drive too much because you'll skid, and you don't want to slow yourself down either.
And you see quite clearly in corner 4 where gravity pushes you up, allows you to fall, and then pushes you up again. That's what we refer to as the pressures in the corner. And the longer the corner is, the more gravity, more times gravity has an effect. So in the Kreisel, 3 or 3.5 pressures. Okay, Keisha Love for the USA, 2 wins this season. 3rd fastest start in the first heat with a 5.98. Start record, by the way, Cynthia Appia holds at 5.92. So Angia Grecu was only 200s away from that in the first heat.
She did a little bit of a different hit to she normally does, actually, Keisha. She did a bit of a trolley push rather than a hit, so she may be one of the athletes taking it a little bit easy heading into World Champs.
Yep. No point busting anything this week. You want to bust it next week if it's going to go. Getting a little skiddy, trying to hold too much height maybe in the sled. You have to readjust so quickly, don't you? Within a couple of corners, you've got to have the feel for whether there's more grip, less grip, and adjust your... Whoa!
Ooh, a little bit wavy, but I was going to say it's going to be close on the exit, but she got it out. She got it out.
That's the 4th wave there. Sideways into 13.
Ooh, that skid's not going to help with the time either.
Really unfortunate hit. Didn't get the square slap. Was 1800s up, just behind at the line, but she drops 2. So Yingqing and Keisha Love were only 600s apart. In fact, she drops into 2nd rather, not 2. So, yeah, just 600s behind. Hate to lose a spot, though, and especially if it's a tiny margin.
Yeah, and those girls, like we said, Keisha, we've got Chinese, we've also got Kelly. They were all pretty close together, so we knew there'd be some switching around of spots. So we'll see how Kelly does in the next run, and hopefully she can hold her spot.
Well, here's the Kreisel, and this is gravity having its effect on the sled. And actually, I think Keisha not fighting it, just trying to judge the exit.
She cranked it off there when she needed to. I think if that was a 2-man, that would have been a lot closer to crashing, but she did a very good job of holding that one there.
Got away with that, and then did not get away with that tap there, and then she got...
the coach's reaction.
No, so that's toughy. Now, was that Exeter Kreisel or Exeter 14? Either way, hey, get it down ugly. She got it down. Kelly van Petegem next for Belgium. Again, brakewoman turned driver, and she has been having a very strong season in Europe Cup, which is the junior level of sliding, not in age, but in experience.
Yeah, we've seen after the last Olympics, a lot of brakemen have turned into drivers as well.
Yeah. 6:26 getaway.
Started similar to her first one.
Yeah, 6:25 in the first heat. Nice, tidy line so far. Oops, there you go.
Bit of a skid that we see a lot of them take.
Whoa, and big skid off 5 and off 6. And that's really going to murder the speed. Out of 9, oh, gets fired away onto the wrong side in the Kreisel.
Yep, that's not very nice when you go a bit later into Kreisel. The pressure's a lot more and it can hurt, but she managed to hold Kreisel pretty well.
Dealt with it well, still 3rd best speed, and that's a good exit out of the Kreisel. Oh,
that was...
Yeah, that bit of wall coming off there got a lot of skeleton sliders yesterday.
I think corner 14 is quite hard when it's slow as well.
Yeah.
Same as 9, there's just no pressure and it's a bit hard to do what you'd normally do.
Well, 61.86 first heat, 61.55 second heat. 3100s better is a substantial improvement when you're only doing 60-odd seconds, but not enough to keep her in the lead, and she drops 3 spots.
And it is only Kelly's 4th week of driving here as well. It's kind of similar to the Americans. She hasn't had a lot of experience on this track, so to be able to gain a little bit and get down, I think that's pretty awesome.
And
it's
again,
definitely one of the challenging ones. So yeah, it's a big effort.
In these early corners, trying to keep the nose up and trying to use the line that she knows, but the reel of the sled just not having it at all. There's not enough speed to keep the sled on the ice. And here out of 14, boom! The wall really comes out at you there. Well,
next time.
Yeah. Next time is the Worlds.
Plenty of more races for Kelly.
Right, next up, Melanie Hassler from Switzerland. 11th after the first heat, and her advantage over our current leader, Ying Qing.
So slightly faster start. She had 6:11. She had 6:13 in the first heat.
So a couple of tenths in hand. Now she's normally pretty precise with her driving lines, but again, like Kelly, trying to hold the sled up there, and it didn't happen in the exit of 4. And late off 9, but she doesn't get pinballed down the straight, so the speed remains decent in the Kreisel.
It's a really nice Kreisel. She came out very clean there. It's always nice to come out clean of Kreisel.
Third best speed, down into 11 and 12, nice and neat, out of 13 and 14, straight up through the middle.
It's a really nice bottom half.
Yeah, and that builds the speed, but the gap is growing, and 2200's back. She drops down the order to 4th place as well. Now, the things that you find out afterwards when you go and ask is, were you on fatter runners? No, we decided we go on something a little bit thinner today for a bit of confidence and to guarantee that there's no dramas. And whether that is the case or not, I don't know, but there didn't seem to be too much in the bottom half of the track that would take the speed away.
Just a few of the skids up the top, but it seems like all of the girls are having really similar skids. It could be the conditions of the ice as well. And again, Monobob. They're very skiddy.
Yeah. Cranks it a little bit on the exit of 9.
She got really lucky. It's good. You're always going down the straight into Kreisel, wondering where it's going to go or if it's going to skid. How you're going to go into Kreisel. It's just kind of waiting. You're not breathing. You're just waiting to go in nice and straight.
Kreisel is the big gorilla, isn't it? Well, she looks, she's still struggling a little bit with her lower back, actually, Melanie Hassler, so she looks a little bit deflated this morning. Ying Qing is our leader after the first 6 sleds.
Altenberg can also do that too. You get to the bottom of the run and you're completely out of breath and you need a moment to gather your thoughts.
Well, you know, it's no Sam Ritz, you know, we're not 1,800 meters above sea level, but that explosion of speed at the beginning, speed and power and, you know, bleeding yourself on the start line, that takes it out of you. There's your leader, Ying Qing, loving the hat. A little bit overkill on a day like today, but I think when you've got a hat like that in the locker, you've got to front it up in the leaders box. Yeah, it's a beauty.
Yeah, the crowd's really building. It's really nice to see.
And also, since we were here last year, they've doubled the size of the bleachers here, so a whole new section added on. Got lots and lots of walkways all the way down the track. We say it so often, but if you've never been to a bobsleigh track, you will never get closer to any professional sport of any kind, anywhere, than you can do in a bobsleigh track.
Exactly. I was standing exit of corner 9 in training to video Kelly and some other athletes, and the spectators were so close. They were loving it. They're absolutely loving it.
I mean, look at this. You know, they're going to come out of here, coming past you 60, 70 miles an hour. Where else could you be that close? Not to football, not to hockey, not to horse racing, not to any kind of car racing. I can't think of a sport where you can be so close to the action.
It's pretty awesome. And if you've never seen a bobsleigh race before, you see the 4 men's coming down and it's going to be a bit of a shock.
Yes, it is. They don't call it Formula 1 on ice for no good reason. Well, there you can see the flags of Germany on the left, of Saxony on the right, and the IBSF in the center. So Saxony is this region of eastern Germany, close to the Czech Republic. We're only about 15 kilometers from the border with the Czech Republic. And in fact, Prague is definitely a lot closer to drive to than Berlin. The nearest big city here, Dresden, is about a 40-minute drive away, so plenty of fans coming in. Altenberg in Germany, 7th race weekend of the BMW IBSF Women's Monobob World Cup. You just saw our coach, Lyndon Rush, for Canada with the sled for Bianca Ribby. Bianca in 10th place after the first of the 2 heats, one of 2 Canadian sleds. Cynthia Appiah yet to come. Cynthia lying in 7th place after the first heat. Martin Haven and Sarah Blizzard watching the action with you. And Sarah made her debut in Whistler last year, Bianca Ribby, in Monobob. First race in the new season, boom, gold medal.
Yeah.
And has not been able to recapture that form ever since.
Yeah, I guess they get a lot of experience over in America, North America, and then they come to Europe and they're all very new tracks and they don't have a lot of training runs. So, yeah, it can definitely be a bit of a challenge. Nice and smooth early on. Well, here in Saxony, they say if you learn to drive here in Altenberg, you can drive anywhere. And I guess the same is largely true of Whistler. If you grow up in Whistler, you don't have much fear of other tracks. Oh, just holds the skid. Really high in the second wave. Yep. But she managed to get out of it. Oh, and then gets a really unfortunate tap into 11 and 12. Can she come straight out of 14? She's dropped into the red behind Ying Qing of China. There's not a great deal of speed available down at the bottom. She's not going to get there, not by a long margin, 61.78. Well, in the men's skeleton yesterday, Yin Cheng of China claimed his 2nd consecutive World Cup win, having won in Sigulda, won here as well. And he similarly spent quite a while in the leaders' box as other athletes made mistakes and lost speed. Again, watch the runners. See, she was coming hard on the steering there out of corner 9. You can see her trying to straighten it up a little bit there. Just the little twitches of the runners at the front. Now the little fast shuffle of the runners, the runner check to try and stop the skid. And here, big second pressure in the Kreisel. Still sitting quite a long way forward. Look at Brianna Walker. She'll be a little further back in the sled. 6.12, another strong start from Brie. 4th best speed out of the 8 sleds so far. So that velocity she's got to carry through these early corners. And it's a different feeling when you're in the monobob. You're sitting further back. In the 2-seat sled, your face is right by the cowl, and here you're sort of at arm's length back from it. It must feel quite disorientating when you do it for the first couple of times. Yeah, definitely. The first time I switched from monobob to 2-man, it was a bit of a shock that suddenly everything was so much closer. You're going to bump your nose on it. Oh! I was about to say it's looking like a really nice run for Brie. It was looking like a really nice run. She's gone from 500s to 800s up, or 8/10ths up rather. Really nice run through Brianna Walker, and that could move her up nicely, a 60.55. And that's 9/10ths quicker than her first heat, 61.43. Oh, looked like the visor broke off on the side a little bit and popped open. That can happen very easily here in Altenberg. You take a hit somewhere or across the finish and it just... Yeah, helmets get scuffed up here. And you, see, and you saw it there, look, you see the helmet, both sides of the cowl are hitting her head there as she comes out of 9. And that's just one little shot on the exit of the corner 9. And again here, 11, 12, 13, 14, those transitions like whip through, don't they? They're very fast, yeah, and if you come in late to any of them, it's not very nice. Wow, now then, Ying Qing unseated from the leader's box. And Brianna Walker may be in there for a little while. Victoria Chernanska, 8th best after the first heat. It was a really neat and tidy first run. She had the slight advantage, stroke disadvantage, of having a fresh spritz, which meant that the track was maybe a little skiddier for her, but maybe gave her a little bit more speed and the fast areas down at the bottom. Let's see what she can make of this second run. Now, her major issue in monobob is that she is the slowest starter in the field.
And she's going to have to overcome that. 6:45, finds another few hundreds. Right, neat and tidy out of 1 and 2. Gets the tap into 4. And again, trying to get the exit of 5 clean, the nose hanging up and the tail not going with it.
Yeah, it's a hard one. You have to find the difference between not steering too much, but also making sure you get it off the corner properly too.
Nicely down the straight, but only the 7th best speed. She's our 9th sled, so she is not going to hold on ahead of Brianna Walker. Right now, looks like she's going to drop 3, possibly 4 spots. Good exit out of 14. Where's she going to be? Somewhere around Keisha Love, just behind Keisha Love. Yeah, 4th place at the line, 500s back, 400s back from Keisha. So 61.68. Actually, that's 4/10 slower than her first heat. Now, how much of that is driving errors? How much of that is a different speed track to compared to when she was out first in the first run? I'm afraid I'm not professional enough to be able to define.
Yeah, I definitely think like part of it will definitely be the track. I'm not sure how many runs Victoria's actually had here, but yeah, you can see like the track record here is 58.80. I don't think anyone's going to be getting close to that today, so the conditions definitely play a big part of it.
No, you need hard, fast ice for track records, and today we have, or this week, we will not have hard, fast ice. It's very mild, never seen this place. Been coming here since 2000, never seen it without snow and ice on the ground.
It's the complete opposite, it's very wet and rainy.
Well, they're acclimatizing us for Winterberg next week. Next up, Cynthia Appia. Now then, Cynthia, 6,500s out of the medals or out of the lead, and 3,400s out of the medals. Realistically, it's a long stretch. Actually, if she has a good second heat, then it's up to the others to hold their position. As we've just seen for the last half dozen sleds, that's not necessarily a given.
She equaled her start time for the first run, so if she's able to get a clean run down, she could definitely gain some spots.
Oh, little wavy in 4. Avoids the hit into 5, though. Not too skiddy into 6. So the gap over Brianna Walker's coming down. Oh, she got a lucky touch there. Came off straight. It's her first heat advantage that remains over Brianna Walker, and she's not as fast. Still losing speed to the Aussie. She's not got enough left. She is going to go behind at the line, even though she's clean here. Doesn't have the speed in the sled. You can lose nearly half a second in the final 3 corners. Across the line. Wow, she did find it.
In general, that was a pretty good run.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, the people who are going to be gaining spots and holding their positions will be the ones that don't skid as much. So we'll see what happens for the next few sleds.
Well, she actually came down 800 slower than Brie, but had that first heat advantage. So she moves into the lead. And the early corners controlled the skidding well.
That tap just before 4 can make it really hard. You get the late entrance and a big wave, but she did actually control the exit quite well.
One big steer and then released the steer as she was coming off 9 and got that square slap.
She got very lucky there, was going towards the wall.
You know, and actually
nice.
Oftentimes you'll hit the wall and come off square. But it's, yeah. If you're just unfortunate and hit a lump of ice in the wrong place, it can be purgatory. So 6 to go. Cynthia Appia leads for Canada. Maureen Zimmer next up. This is her 3rd World Cup start of the season. Maureen taking over from the injured Kim Kalicki. Kalicki will go in the 2-man, or in the women's bob, 2-seat sled. 6:05 getaway from Maureen. So she only had 600s over Cynthia Appia, and she loses 3 of those at the start. This is effectively a dead heat. .300s back. This could be very close. She should have enough knowledge of the track to find the speed. Has a clean exit out of 9. Here we go. Fourth best
so far.
Yeah. Could be coming back. Still fourth best speed. The gap is tiny. Exit of 14 will decide it. Pretty clean. Still 700s. As Cynthia found speed in the final 3 corners, is Maureen Zimmer going to catch her? No! And Maureen in the middle of 16. Okay, head down. There's 17. It just buries herself.
Shows she knows the track if you can duck your head before you go around that last corner.
Yeah. Well, that'll be Winterberg as well. There'll be a lot of heads disappearing from sight before the seal curve in Winterberg, whether you roll on the exit or not. And Maureen doing that to try and find those extra couple of hundredths of a second. And in the end, Cynthia hanging on, 1500ths in front. Maureen just an awkward little sort of drag of her foot over the seat back.
Yeah, went in a little bit sideways, but she managed to be in before the grooves ended, so it didn't really mess anything up too much with the start.
Yeah, this is out of 16. She knows where the sled's going, and she just buries herself. Technique pioneered by Anne van Nieuwenhuis.
Yeah, Anne's quite lucky. She's small enough to be able to duck her head, and someone like Maureen as well, they can duck their heads under the cowling.
Well,
it's not very easy for us.
Lara Nolte does it a lot as well, and yeah, you never know. 100th can mean the difference between winning and losing in these races. 5 to go. Katy Bile is at the line. Cynthia Appia leads from Maureen Zimmer and Brianna Walker. 2200s in hand over current leader Cynthia Appia. Started 6:21 in the first heat, so most of that lead will go at the start. 6:24, all of the lead goes at the start. So now it's a
bit of a skid out of 1, very minor, but hopefully it doesn't cut too much speed off.
Well, she had quite a nice, clean-looking run in the first heat. She was 3rd off the block, and that means that she had faster ice than Cynthia Appia did 7 sleds later, and made good use of it.
This is probably where we'll see people making up the difference between having a good start number and a later start number.
4th best speed, but 1800s back. Gap's coming down, 2nd fastest. Katy Bile doing what she does best. Oh!
That definitely isn't going to help with the downtime.
No, that's going to double the disadvantage at the line. She's not going to catch Cynthia Appia, I don't think. Ducks ahead as well, no. 61.19.
Drops back behind Bree into 4th place.
Yeah. It's tight, isn't it? So she drops 3 spots. Her first heat was a 60.88, that was a 61.19. And it didn't look like it was a get off. Didn't look like it was a dreadful run, but actually the exit of 14, she was on target, I think, really to catch Cynthia until then. Out of 9, got a little bit of an unfortunate skid.
Yeah, if you get that bump going into 12, she got quite lucky there. You can see the back runners in the air. Monobob, I guess, there's not as much weight. It's not going to tip you over, but it definitely doesn't help with speed.
And 14, the final nail in the coffin. Not her best run down Altenberg. 4 to go. Cynthia Appia leads. Cynthia's best results this season, a pair of top 5s, so she is on PB territory. What about Lisa Buchwitz? 4 wins so far this season, 1 bronze medal, and her worst result, 7th in La Plagne, the season opener.
6-0 start, so faster than her first.
And she has really come alive this season as a driver. Last year, she looked like a new driver. This year, it looks like she's been doing it for a couple of extra years compared to how much experience she actually has.
Looking like a really neat first half as well.
Oh, and there's the unfortunate, and down to 9th speed. The gap was 5,500s ahead of Cynthia Appia. Loses a 10th, and only the 9th best speed. She should have enough at the bottom if she's clean out of 14. There's not going to be much fat left in it, but it should be enough to take the lead away from Appia. At the line by 22 hundredths. Gert Leopold, the assistant trainer, assistant coach at the German Federation. Lisa applauding the crowd, and they applaud back in turn. She's had such a strong season, and again in the hunt for the medals, leading with 3 to go. And we bear in mind that she was an Olympic brakewoman in 2022. Last year was her first official year of driving races.
And you can definitely see the brakewoman coming out in the push in the Monobob. It's one of the really, like, very impressive pushes.
and the language, Timothy, and the competitive streak that everybody in this business has to have. Now then, the Romanian flags for Andreea Grecu. Great opportunity for Andrea to put herself in amongst the medals. She was on an all-new medal winners podium in La Plan. Keisha Love, first-time winner, first-time silver medal for Mel Hassler, third-time bronze medal for Andrea. She hasn't been able to recapture that form so far this season until last week's silver medal in Sigulda. Can she hit the podium again? 5.96. Well, she didn't get down to start record 92s.
But she's definitely coming into shape at a good time with World Champs being next week.
Absolutely. You see the wind starting to blow as well now. That's not going to help the ice condition. She knows this track so well. She's almost a German driver here. 200s over Buchwitz. Now in the red. Needs to be clean down the straight, and she is, but where's the speed? She's going to drop out of the medals. 8th best is nothing like enough.
It's looking like a pretty good run in general.
Oh, she's bringing it back.
Yep.
Wow. Is she going to take a medal away from Lisa Buchwitz at the line? By no! 100th in it. Oh, my goodness. Julian Pacianu, the bobsled coach for Romania, frustrated with that. Teodora runs down to help her with the sled. 100th of a second. And that's why athletes duck their heads, because it's worth 100th of a second. And if it's worth that, yeah, it can make a difference.
Took the tap from 3 to 4, but again, most people have done that.
Yeah.
Really hard to avoid.
And it seemed like when she came off the Chrysler, the speed was nowhere, and yet somehow she managed to build more speed further down the track. There's that whip onto 6. Here's the exit of 9. Not so dramatic a haul off as everybody else had. But she lies in second, behind Lisa Buchwitz with 2 to go. Oh, she might be in the medals. She might not. Lisa's laughing there. Lauren Alter, silver medal in both races last year. She lay in second place after the first of the 2 heats. 6:12 start. Oh, drift away from the wall. Come back, baby. Clean from 3 to 4. That's about the nicest 3-4 we've seen. And 4-5. 1300s back. That's the extra speed at the start that Buchwitz has that carries you down to corner 9. Second best speed. Here we go.
It's looking like a pretty good run again.
Yes, look at that. 2100s to 600s back. Into the lead. Beautiful touch out of 14. 1100s. This will be a quarter of a second at the line. It'll be Lauren Alter throwing down the gauntlet to Alana Myers-Taylor. Lisa Buchwitz is in the medals, But it's Lara Nolte.
Very happy with that.
Yeah.
As you would be, I'd be very happy if I did a rundown like that.
So 60.71 first heat, 60.58 in the second. The problem with Lara Nolte is there's often so little to improve on. So Lisa offers her congratulations. You can see the pink hats, Lara's family and friends in the grandstand. Again, sort of foot on the back of the little seat back. See, some like Buchwitz vault in from the back handles, some run through the sled.
Yeah, everyone has a different technique and depends on how far back you have your seat as well. I know mine's too far back to be able to step on the back, otherwise I'd be falling into the sled, but some people step on the back before getting in.
It kind of depends on the length of your legs as well, actually. That final stride, good run. 2 good runs. Last year's silver medalist is the leader. Last year she was beaten twice by an American, but not this American. Kaylee Humphries, a double winner last year. Can Alana Myers-Taylor keep the Star-Spangled Banner at the top of the leaderboard? Bronze medalist last time out, 2 weeks ago in Sigulda. Let's see what she's got. In and down in a 6:04 start. That's another strong start from Alana. Little tap between 3 and 4. Not too wavy in 4. Clean into 5. Doesn't get hooked up on the exit of 5. Nicely into 6. That's one of the key exits, and she gets a lucky straight tap. 3/10 up, 10th best speed into the Kreisel. Brings it out right down the middle. Gap's coming down.
Oh, that skid wouldn't have helped.
It's going to be close.
It's going to be really close.
200's in it. Does she have enough speed in the final couple of corners? 16 and out of 17 across the line. Not enough. It is gold for Lara Nolte, silver for Alana Myers-Taylor, and Lisa Buchwitz takes the bronze. Well, 60.45 in the first heat for Alana Myers-Taylor, 61.07 in the second. And those couple of errors low down robbed her of the speed she needed in those final 3 corners to overhaul Lara Nolte. But her best race result of the season, bronze in Sigulda, silver now in Altenberg, 2 real hard driving tracks. And her start is getting stronger. She's feeling even more love with the sled, just in time for the World Championships.
Yeah, I think she would be happy with that result. Like, she's coming into form at a really good time, so I imagine she'd definitely be happy with the silver there.
That was a good job. Best result of the season for her, and for Lara Nolte, it's a first win of the year. Finally. Can remember the jubilation of Lake Placid last year when she claimed her first ever Monobob win. I think this probably feels as good. It's been a long drought. Buchwitz has been hoovering up the medals. And Keisha has stolen the ones that Lisa didn't. And now the world champion is back with a win the week before the World Championships.
That's always a good confidence boost.
Isn't it, though? And this is definitely not her home track, so it's a good result for Lara Nolte. Alana Myers-Taylor takes the silver, her best race of the season. Lisa Buchwitz on the podium again. 7 races, only 1 has she not finished in the medals. Andrea Grecu 4th from Cynthia Appia. Again, a 3rd top 5 finish for her, and Maureen Zimmer in the top 6. Ahead of Bree Walker, Katty Bile, Ying Qing, and Keisha Love rounding out the top 10. Victoria Chinanska dropping down a little. Deborah Annan moving up the order nicely from 15th to 12th, ahead of teammate Mel Hassler. Take that every day of the week as a rookie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So the world champion is back on winning form. And And when she gets to Winterberg, that is a track where she has plenty of winning experience. Going to be very interesting to see how she fares there. It's going to be tough between her, Alana, Lisa Buchwitz, and a handful of others. And then in the women's bob, you're going to throw in Kim Kalicki as well. Yeah, interesting times. Lisa Buchwitz still the World Cup points leader from Lara Nolte, who jumps up from 4th to 2nd ahead of Keisha Love. But look at that. 13.55, 13.32, 13.24, 13.06. Yeah, tight as you like. And Alana, 12.98, only 8 points behind Andrea Grecu. It's going to be a massive sort out for the season finale in Lake Placid to get those top 3 Crystal Globe positions nailed down. But Lisa Buchwitz looks like she may end up with the gold Crystal Globe at the end of the season. Well, that's it for Monobob until the World Championships. This afternoon will be the 2-man bobsleigh. We kick off at 1400, 1300 GMT, 0800 Eastern. Till then, my thanks to you for watching. Thanks to Sarah for words of wisdom here in the booth. We will see you at 1400 local, 1300 GMT to get the men's bobsleigh weekend underway. Bye for now.